Welcome back to Peek Esports Episode 3. I am your host, Revenant, and joining you today from the very rainy Smoky Mountains on this Friday afternoon. Hopefully right after this goes up, the matches will be underway. And it's been a quiet week in the COD community this week, but since my last video Tuesday, and we don't have a lot to talk about today, but we got some matches to get into. Got some power rankings just to remind you going into this weekend. And then we're going to talk about the Florida roster change a little bit, and then do some matches. And I got some key picks and stuff this week, so let's get right into it. So nothing's changed from power rankings from Tuesday. I just want to run through them real quick. So we got London at 12, Florida at 11, LAG 10, Rocker 9, Breach 8, Vegas 7, FaZe 6, Surge 5, New York 4, Thieves 3, Ultra 2, Optic number 1. So that is going to be the power rankings this week. So everybody favored against everybody. Who would be favored, not necessarily who would win or who's the better team. Keep that in mind. But let's jump right into it. Down here, we got some Florida stuff going on this week. So as of, I think, Friday. Today is Friday. As of Wednesday, Havoc announced on Twitter that he is benching himself for personal reasons. And I'm just going to send some prayers his way, man. I hope he's doing okay. I hope everything's good. It sucks that that something got bad enough that you have to pull yourself off the team. That's never a good situation. But that means that Vickle will be coming off the bench and into the starting lineup for Florida. And I don't know what this is going to do for Florida at this point in the game, because he was on the starting lineup. He comes up, he gets benched, he comes back, yada yada. I think him and Havoc are probably around the same skill level. And Florida has not shown much improvement, not very much in recent times. They've shown a little bit of life at the major, but the first couple qualifiers, they don't look very hot. So it's a tough spot being in a bottom 4 team and having to make a roster change this late in the season and watching that Champs Axe get closer and closer and closer to you. But I think this week, if Florida doesn't pull out a win, I think it comes down on them, because they're tied for 10th right now with LAG, and I think they're more likely to fall than LAG. I like LAG a little bit more. I think they have a little bit more life coming out of them right now. So the Champs Axe came down on London last week. It cut them out of the chase, and I think it comes down this weekend on Florida. Roster change, all that going on. Bam! Out. I hope Havoc is good, and I hope he's able to come back before the end of the season if they need to make another roster change, if somebody else has to be benched, or they just bring Havoc back into the starting lineup. But I believe they fall, and it sucks because Havoc had to step down, and sitting bottom 4 the rest of the season and not climbing out of that hole is not going to be fun for them, but that's just kind of the way it is. So that's the roster mania this week. Not really roster mania, just something that sucks. But let's jump right into the matches this week. So we got Friday. We got Breach versus Ravens, Florida versus Seattle, and New York versus Rocker. Unfortunately, this looks like a bit of a yawner Saturday. Breach versus Ravens. I think this could be an interesting one with Crimp coming off the academy team, with Vivi getting dropped. So I think he's just got to show up. And Breach could fumble really, really hard this match. Harder than any other CDL team, I think, in my opinion, would be. London is not on a good streak right now, but Breach did just make a roster change. So that could play into London's hands. I don't think it's gonna, but London could try to take advantage of that. But they are also coming off a recent roster change. So I think they're more at a disadvantage. And I think this is good for Crimp coming off the academy team, because playing such a bad team is going to allow him to settle in to being a pro player. Getting used to, I know he's probably been scrimming with the guys. He's probably been trying to play with them more and more, yada, yada. But playing in an actual match, it's going to help him settle in, get ready. And if he pops off, then your confidence meter goes through the roof, and you're feeling it. Then that could really, really, really play a part in how good he does going further. But he could fumble really horribly, and that would be really bad for Boston. So I think he's our key player for Boston this week. He has such a good chance here to do so good, but if he fumbles, then it could be detrimental to the Breach. And they could honestly, they're all 7 through our top 8 and top 9 are, or sorry, let me go back. 9 through teams through 3 in the rankings are like 4 games apart total. So you could fall or climb really, really quickly if you're able to get some big wins in there for Boston. And I think the key player for London in this matchup is going to be Yuli. I think he's got to take Nasty's role and show that he can perform just as good as at an SMG that Nasty did. So he's got to fill that void, and I think that's what London's been struggling with. They don't have that slaying power that they had in Nasty as an SMG, and Yuli is there to fill that gap, but he hasn't been filling that gap. So he's going to be the key player for Ravens. I think London's just on a tough one here, and it sucks that they just keep tumbling, but I don't think they're stopping anytime soon. So London goes down this one. I think this is a quick 3-0 from Breach, maybe a 3-1 if London's able to squeak one out. But 3-1, 3-0 Boston for sure. So let's go into match number 2 of the day, Florida versus Seattle. So Florida, not showing much life recently, and Seattle is showing pretty good life recently. Been heating up. I know they lost to Thieves, but I still think they're a top 5 team in the league. I know they're 7th in the standings, but I think they're better than I think they're better than Breach, and they could be better than New York if the time came to it. So I think Florida could steal a map here, but I think this is a pretty easy one. Florida could steal a hard point, but they looked really, really bad in control against FaZe. They did take an S&D off FaZe, so they could take an S&D off Surge. But I think Surge win this one 3-1, 3-0, same as the first one. And I think this starts a heater for Surge, and I think Surge make a big run. And I'm going to bold predict right now, Seattle start their heater, and they climb out of that 7 spot and make it to top 5 by the end of Major 4, which means they're going to have to place good at the Major, because if other teams keep winning their matches, that you're going to sit in the same spot 10 points apart from each other. But Seattle going to go on a heater here. That's my opinion. Watch out for Seattle. And let's see. Key players for this one. Key players. I think Pred definitely key player, because Thieves were able to slow him down a little bit, and that halted Seattle really, really bad. But I don't think Florida has the power to do that, the same power that Thieves have to do that. So I think Pred's going to pop off this series. I think it's going to be a big bounce back for him after that Thieves loss. I know they beat Ultra, but that Thieves loss still sucks. Ultra look a little rough right now. But, yeah, Pred key player for Seattle. And the key player for Florida in this one is going to be Capsidol. Capsidol needs to perform very, very well. And some of these plays, I know I'm watching hindsight, and I know I make different plays when I'm playing the game, and I jump in trying to do something crazy, but I feel like at the pro level, you just can't do that. You can't throw yourself at the enemy team as much, and I feel like Cap was doing that last week, where they were pushing points, and then he'd dive like through a doorway, and there'd be like 2 or 3 FaZe guys just right there, and he'd die, and he threw his life away. And that, especially in that control was rough to watch. If Cap can perform good, then I think Florida has a chance to steal a map. Maybe 2 if they get lucky. But I think Seattle crushes them in this series. I don't think Florida just does not stand a chance. That's my humble opinion. And then we got the match of the day. Yeah, match of the day for Friday. This is my match of the day for Friday. But like I said earlier, the Friday just looks like some yawners. But this could be good. New York versus Rocker. We got another top team versus a bottom 4 team. This one, we may have 3 sweeps in one day, which could be a very quick day. Rocker started the split 2-0 at their LAN event, which that's really, really good. Fame looked amazing, but I'm looking for how they play against New York and how they play online. Those are, like I said, Tuesday. Those are 2 massive factors that they haven't factored in yet. So they need to outperform New York here, and I don't think they're going to do that. I think New York takes this one 3-0. Not a doubt in my mind, especially if Hydra and Kiz are clicking, then New York is going to run through them. Because New York's ARs are both Priesta and Skies are both very, very solid. And if Hydra and Kiz are doing really, really good, then it's hard to slow New York down. So, and I'm interested to see how Rocker play because they played so good at their home event. But you have a crowd, you have LAN, you have sound EQ on at that event. All the teams did. But I think the key players for this one is Kismet for New York. Kismet has got to be clicking with Hydra because when you only have one SMG popping off, it's hard. And you have one kind of holding you back a little bit. Not holding you back, but slowing down. It's hard for that team to get the slaying power to push out, break hills, get spawns, yada, yada. And then Rocker, I think Fame. Fame was their best player by far last weekend. But if Fame does not play good online / against a good team, then Rocker could collapse. And I think they're going to get 3-0'd. I think the games are going to be close. I don't think they're going to get, slammed like Optic did to London last week, beating them 250 to 68. But I think New York takes this one. I think Rocker keeps the games close, but I don't think they get this one. And then moving on to Saturday. We have another yawner to start off the day, Saturday. Vegas versus London. This could be a good one, but if Vegas plays like they did against Breach, I don't think this has a chance to be any good. I think Vegas wins 3-1 here. They could lose the control unless it's Expo. They voted that in. I don't know if London voted that in to replace Fortress, and I think Vegas probably feels pretty comfortable on that map. They could go 3-0 depending on what the control map is, but I think they go 3-1. I think they lose the control if it's not Expo. So yeah, Vegas looks really, really good. I'm very high. I'm on a Vegas high right now until they crush my hopes and dreams. And I think the key players from this one are Standy from Vegas. He's got to do the same thing that he did against Boston and play out of his mind like a manimal. TJ needs to play really well too, but I think Standy is more important because when Standy's popping off, I think TJ can do more. And TJ's been playing smarter, so that SMG duo could affect how they play. And then I think it's the same thing with the previous London match. Yuli is going to be London's key player because Yuli, he's like I'm going to beat a dead horse here, but he's filling that nasty void. And SMGing in Nasty's role, who he was probably a better SMG in the league on a bad team, and pushed him to an AR and then have a challengers player take over that spot, and he's not doing as well, and that's why I think London is falling really, really hard. But I think Vegas takes this one 3-0, 3-1, not a doubt in my mind. And then nextly, we have Thieves versus LAG. Two kind of boring ones to start off Saturday. These could be good. Could have a couple surprises here, but I think Thieves go 3-0 on them. I think a lot of LAG is playing for themselves, those players. And I would be too. I've said it. I'm going to repeat it again. But they're coming off Thieves are coming off their Seattle win and their London win last week. So I think Thieves are it's a bad spot to be in for LAG. Coming off 0-1 or 0-2 weekend against a 2-0 team. So, and I think Thieves are the team to watch, the key team to watch, because I think they have the most, not most, but if Thieves are able to win a major, then they could very easily take that top spot, and I think they would right now because all the teams are so close. They'd be top 3 for sure if they won a major. But Thieves, LAG, Thieves take this 3-0, and Thieves, I don't have key players on this one. Whoops. But definitely key players. This one, Alec Arcides. I think he's got to play well. He's their best player. Oh, goodness. Excuse me. Key players this one. I had them written down. They just disappeared for some reason. Key players for this one are Joe Deceives. Joe was frying last weekend, but his team just couldn't pick up the slack. And I think if Joe is able to slay out like he was last week and his team can pick up a little bit more. Arcides obviously very, very good AR. He can pick it up, but we need Exceed and Assault to step up to the plate this weekend if they want to compete with Thieves. And I think Thieves' key player is going to be Kenny, because Envoy is a very good SMG, and Kenny and Envoy are clicking. They're kind of like Hydra and Kiz. Like Shotzi and Hook, they're a very, very good duo. So, and like I said, Thieves are the team to watch. And then this is not the match of the day, but the third match of the day for Saturday is New York versus Optic. This is going to be a banger. I think New York and Optic both look really, really good recently. I want this one to go to 5 really, really bad, because I want to watch these two teams battle it out for as long as I can. But I think this one goes 3-1 Optic. 3-1 Optic. I think Optic's HPs look really, really, really good. I think New York, I don't know which one they're going to take, but I think they take that S&D or that control, either one, and Optic is able to finish it out in game 4. Because their hard points look very, very solid, almost unbeatable. The only team to beat them in recent memory are Ultra, and Ultra beat them twice in hard point, and that really killed them in the major. So, New York Optic, this is going to be a good one. I think Optic, if they'll keep crawling towards that top spot. I think they win this one, no doubt in my mind. And the key players this week are Hook and this game. Hook and Kiz. Kismet, same reason the other games. Kismet has just got to click with Hydra, be that good SMG duo, and similarly, Optic's key player is Hook. Hook has been playing at an astronomical level recently, almost like the same level as Shotzi in my opinion. Maybe even better in some matches, in some games, on some maps, not overall, but Hook has been frying, and I think that has allowed Dashy and Ghosty to play really, really well, and Shotzi. I think Hook is the key to Optic success at the moment. So that's it. And then let's move on to match number 4. This is the match of the day for me because it is the classic redemption fight. Both of these teams looking to bounce back from a rough weekend last week. FaZe versus Ultra. I didn't say that. This is big because FaZe lose to New York and then get taken to Game 5 by Florida. And then Ultra go 0-2, but they almost reverse sweep both times they play last week. So I think this is the truest form of a test for both of these teams. You get 1 and 2 in the standings playing each other, and I think FaZe is going to take this one. I think Ultra. I hope this goes to 5 like the New York Optic game. But I think Ultra are just gonna. I think FaZe are gonna inch them out. So this one could be close. I think FaZe takes both S&Ds, loses the control, and takes a hard point. So it could. They could lose that first HP, win the second S&D, lose the control, and then win 4 and 5. But for this one, this isn't going to be a grade A bang out. So keep your notifications on for this one Saturday night. This is going to be a really, really good one. This is, let me check the standings real quick. I got it open. This is not, FaZe is 2 games ahead of Ultra, but if Ultra wins, that puts them within 1 game. So Ultra could come for that top spot, but I think FaZe wins this one. And the key players for this one, I think Slasher. Slasher's been playing really, really well. So is that entire FaZe team for the most part. But when Slasher is playing well and Cell doesn't have to be the single AR of the team instead of or Cell can have a AR partner, I think that's when FaZe really, really clicks. They have 2 of the best SMGs in the game. Very similar to Optic, I think. Simp and Abizi are very much like Shotzi and Hook. When they're on, they are really, 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 really good. And then when they're off, it's easy to beat FaZe. So just watch out for that. And then Hixie, I think, is the Ultra's key player. I think Hixie's got to get some hill time. He's got to get some bomb plants. He's got to force the other team to do some retaking stuff. Retakes and make some plays on them. I think Hixie plays his life really, really well. He's a smart player, and he just needs a little bit extra slang power with him, and I think he'd be, really, really good. He'd be like a top tier SMG player. I think he's probably B or C right now, pretty mid, but he has the potential to be good. So if he's playing well, then he could very well be an A tier SMG. But that's it for that. So FaZe's going to take that one in 5. And then let's move on to Sunday. Sunday starts off with a little bit of a rough one. Vegas versus LAG. I want LAG to win or to be good. I really like LAG, but I just don't see it happening anytime soon. And they only have so much more time before their team is non-existent. So I think Vegas takes a clean 3-0 here. I think they take that control. This one, they take the hard point and they take the S&D. And COD can be a little wishy-washy, so, LAG could 3-0 them. But if in Vegas, if they win here, they're chasing Rocker. They're highly motivated. They're looking to go 3-0 in this major. Or if they go 3-0 to start the split, then they could go... Then they could get a winner spot at the major. And that would be huge for them. That would give them a much better chance, and they could place top 4 easily. Maybe not easily, but if they win their first match and make it to winners finals or something like that, they could have a very, very, very good event. I think key players for this one are also Joe Deceives. Joe, same reason. He's got to fry. He's got to be really, really good. But it's hard for your team to win when you have 38 kills and your team's not doing much. So keep an eye on that one. And for Vegas, this one, I think Clay. And not necessarily Clay's play, but Clay's comms. Clay is an amazing, amazing coach player. I know he's not the actual coach. Nagafin is the coach. But when Clay is calming and telling guys to calm down and play with their head, I think that really, really helps. Because it's super easy to, you get in flow state and you're not thinking and you start making some dumb decisions and then you get mad. I mean, it happens to me in ranked. I'm not a pro player, so I imagine it happens to other people more frequently. But Clay for Vegas, Joe Deceives for LAG. Vegas takes this one clean 3-0. Just a tough one for LAG. And Vegas will start off 3-0 because they played one match last weekend for this major. And if they go 4-1, they get a winner spot, maybe even 3-2. So keep your eye on Vegas. And then let's get to the next match, Ultra versus Florida. This is a quick one here. Florida took FaZe to 5 last week, but if Ultra lose to FaZe the previous day, I don't think Ultra are going 0-4 in their qualifiers, and I think they're coming off a loss. They're coming to take their anger out on Florida, and they are going to fry them. I think Ultra go 3-0 here. It could be a really, really good series. That's the problem with Call of Duty sometimes is you never know when a team is going to your team's going to click for that series and you're going to play really, really well and have an upset. But Ultra 3-0 Florida here. Key players, Scrap. Scrap is obviously one of the best ARs in the game right now. Rookie of the year, potentially. Probably. Can't think of anybody off the top of my head that's just as good as him. And then for Florida key player, I think Fellow. Fellow's got to be able to counter Scrappy. Brack is probably going to play okay. He's been pretty solid recently. But Fellow just does not look very good. Especially in that control. He had 6 kills against FaZe. And maybe control is just their worst game mode. And they're really bad in it. And I think I'm just focusing on that a lot. Because that's what I remember. But Fellow needs to play really, really well. And I don't know if he needs to put that sniper up in S&D. Because if you're not getting picks, I don't know how much that's helping your team. You put yourself at a disadvantage if you're not getting picks, in my opinion. So, Ultra come here, slam Florida. They start off 1-3 in their qualifiers instead of 0-4. And then we'll move on to the match of the day. This is a big one. This is a really, really big one because Optic versus Thieves is our last match of the day, Sunday. This one is going to be a banger. Like I said, I want to see this one go to 5. To the top 3 teams in the league, in my opinion, going head-to-head, banging it out. I think Optic takes this one in 4. That's going to be my guess. I don't know which one they're going to drop, either the S&D or the control. Like, in my mind, I don't see a team beating Optic and Hardpoint, especially if some team is dumb enough to not ban Fortress Hardpoint. They look like they make other teams look like children out there. Like, you gave your 4-year-old a controller and were like, here, do you want to play? Take both. I think they take both HPs this series. They drop that S&D or that control. If they drop that S&D and control, then we're going to game 5 because they're going to win that 4th hardpoint for sure. And Optic, I think Thieves look really, really good recently. I think Optic just looks like a half-inch better. And key players for this one, I'm going to go Kenny again. Kenny has got a fry. Kenny's not going to got to take any of these long-range gunfights with a Vaz. Peeking top meeting on Embassy or something and getting AR'd across the map. That's tough stuff. And then I think Dashy, when Dashy's AR'ing really, really well and holding down some lanes and stuff and keeping it, you lighten the load off your SMGs and you allow them to play better by keeping guys from even getting to them. So that's going to be that one, or key player for Optic that time. So Optic takes that one 3-1 in my opinion. It could go to 5. I want it to go to 5, but I just think Optic looks just like an inch better, like an inch and a half better than Thieves. And Thieves, if they win, they'll be tied with Optic. Optic and Thieves both play twice this weekend, and whoever wins that one, that's a big deal in the standings, because if Thieves win, they'll move up and they'll be tied with Optic. Or if Optic wins, they'll put 2 games between them and Thieves at 4. So that's a big this is a big match to keep your eye on. But that is going to be all for me today. Before these matches, hopefully this goes up very, very soon. And I've decided I'm going to do 2 videos a week. I just can't decide on the days. I mean, I got school and other stuff going on, so it's just hard for me to do like a specific schedule, and my brain doesn't work like that, unfortunately. But 2 videos a week. One's going to come out Monday or Tuesday, and then one Thursday or Friday. And if it comes out Friday, it'll be Friday morning before the matches start. So keep an eye on that. Like, sub, follow all the socials. I'll link those in the description. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.